4-hour candle has an upper wick. It's kind of that upper wick is a lot bigger than the bottom wick, but we do have a bottom wick there. That's constant encroachment of that wick. So if we go below constant encroachment, I'd be looking for lower prices. So this is what we're going to see. If we start to see some break of structure to the upside or the downside, it kind of rejected off a midnight open there and pushed down, rejecting off of this area here, those 8 a.m. lows. So we'd like to see some inversions to the upside. If not, then we definitely are looking at some possible shorts. We are below our gamma flip area, which I introduced yesterday on the live stream. Those gamma levels, the put wall, which we kind of blew past there. So on the options market, we have those market movers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is August the 19th, 2026, Wednesday. Just checking my mic here. Finally got my mic and my camera going the way I'd like. So just bear with me. Just in case the volume's off or the picture's off, but we should be good. But I'll get it tweaked up the next few days. Just a little bit late to the stream, but we're doing good. I got my 8 a.m. highs marked out, 8 a.m. lows. We swept our lows. Kind of blew right past this order block that I tentatively had there. We swept our London low, swept Asia low. So now if we're going to continue to be bullish, because I am bullish on the day, I do have my GEX levels. We smashed past that put wall. We were looking like we were going to shoot above on pre-market, but right now I may be looking for a continuation to the downside. If we don't see a reversal soon, we're at the 950 macro, looking for some sort of reversal here. So I'm going to look for the higher time frame. We tapped in to that daily inefficiency. We also are in a weekly inefficiency as well. We still have some more to the downside to get into that weekly inefficiency. So we could see some more bearish prices. But on the daily, which is, I don't understand why my FEG is not in there. My daily. Okay, so we're gonna go this one to that. There we go. Boom. So I'm gonna mark out my daily FEG here. Okay. So we're in our daily. We inverted this small daily fair value gap here. So let's see what we have. We're in our daily inefficiency there. Now what I'm doing, I'm looking for a higher time frame inefficiency that we can inverse. So we have good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everyone this morning? Let me try to get myself situated here. Yep. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. So yesterday we ended up, let me see. Well, let me explain my setup here, because usually I'll have my trading view set up, which will be paper trading. Then I have my Lucid or TradeAvate account, which I'll pull up on stream. So what I did today is I connected my TradeAvate account with TradingView. I do my analysis on NQ and I take my trades on MNQ. So I have my NQ screen here and my MNQ screen here. So what I'll attempt to do today is take these trades directly on screen. So to prevent the having to switch back and forth, situation. In the past I've done it. I just haven't lately because of I felt like there was a lag in executions, but we'll do it today. There's some pros and cons to it, but I won't get too much into that. So what I'll do is today we have our 8 a.m. highs, 8 a.m. lows marked out. Above that, we have our key levels. We have our London highs, our prior day highs, and below that, I have the London lows, New York opening, midnight opening. Our first presented fair value gap from yesterday. I like to keep that on my chart, and I have these Fibonacci key levels based on our daily time frame, which price tends to react off these levels. You see the 786 here. What else do we have here? Let me see. Let's go up here so I don't have to push it out too far. So we have our 786 where it's, price started to consolidate around that level there. We have, of course, our prior day low there. We have our 236, which these are levels where price tends to react. So I like to mark those levels out to see, you know, once we get to those levels, what how price reacts, and just a little bit more of a confluence. So today, on the hourly chart, we're currently in a 1 hour inefficiency, which price has not inversed as of yet. More importantly here, which I'd like to mark out as well, I'm going to mark out, we have a 30-minute inefficiency here that price has been reacting off of. And we'll use that if need be, because once below this 8 a.m. low, our next key level are these London lows here. But being as though we have this 30-minute inefficiency, if we sweep those lows and price reacts off that 30-minute inefficiency, and then we are able to inverse a lower time frame FEG, like a 1 minute or a 2 minute, which was created on the way down. So the thing is, if at the open, if we sweep these lows, and we tap into this 30-minute FEG, that would check the box of a higher time frame PD array. It's not a very strong fair value gap, because this fair value gap was created as it broke above these highs and created this expansion candle. This is a more of a I'd say a fair value gap that would carry more weight. But being as though price it's been holding up price for one, two, three, about 3.5 hours, 4 hours. Price has been reacting off of this fair value gap. So if we break below it and start to go down, that would be an indication. If we tap and reject and then inverse a lower time frame fair value gap, that would give us the confluences that we're looking for to get into a long. So at the open here, we're looking at consolidation right now as price is accumulating, which is good. It's rejecting off of this 5-minute fair value gap. I mean, this area right here is very important. We have a 5-minute there. We have a 15-minute there. We have a 1 hour there. So once we start to break above this area and move up, I believe price may continue up as high as at least prior day highs, if not these relative equal highs here. So what I'm expecting at the open is a sweep of these 8 a.m. lows. Maybe as far down as maybe London, or we have the New York Open, midnight open here. So it could go as far down as that. If that be the case, what I'd be looking for is a sweep, some type of pullback into a PD array, which this 30-minute may be a little bit too high for us. So if we create some sort of lower time frame PD array and a rejection, then we could possibly stab a short. if it does sweep these lows and then continue down, we may not see higher prices until the second half of the morning, or maybe even to the PM session, depending on how low it wants to go. But in a perfect world, we sweep these lows, tap into this 30-minute FEG, which we got about 5 minutes left until we get a new candle, which is the open. And then we reject off this 30-minute, because right now we're still hanging out above constant encroachment of this 30-minute gap. So we reject from this 30-minute, and then we shoot up and we inverse. We have a 2-minute here. Yeah, so we have a 2-minute here as well. Which we're shooting above that 2-minute right now. Got about 40 seconds left. So if we don't inverse, if we just wick this 2-minute here and it doesn't inverse, that would be a good gap. I'm just gonna leave that one there. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna leave these both open because I don't want to take a trade and trade minis when I really want to trade micros. So hopefully we don't do that. So right now we're inversing this 2-minute, which isn't a big deal right now, but that's what we're kind of looking for. So if we start to sweep down at the open, we're looking for some type of inversion of a smaller time frame that would give us indication that we're going to shoot higher. Be as it may, it looks like at the open it may want to give us a pump to maybe sweep these highs. If we pump and sweep these highs here, even here, and not the 8 a.m. high, and then go low, we definitely would look at getting into some shorts. So there's a few options here. We're just looking at to see what the play is at the open. So we got about 4 minutes until the open here. So we'll wait and see what the market wants to do. So hopefully everyone had a great day of trading yesterday. So it looks like we're getting some sort of a push to the downside before the open, which may indicate that price wants to pop. So that's what I'm looking. I'm looking at these loans. We have some on the 5-minute. We have these bullish order blocks here. So we're tapping into that 30-minute fair value gap there. So we have a 1 minute, a nice 1 minute fair value gap here that was created to the downside before the open. So we'll look for that as our inversion. So that's a nice gap to be looking at for the inversion. We're still inside of our new week opening gap. That's what this yellow line is. We're inside of our new week opening gap. So we're kind of hanging below. We got about 10 seconds before the open. Kind of hanging below that. And here we are at the open. Big push to the downside. And it's going back up. So if we get into a long, I would wait until we get our inversion here. So I'll start to get into some longs here. So it looks like we're trying to get up in there. I'm going to take that buy there. If we get back above there, I'm going to take that. Yeah, that's why I don't like getting in on TradingView. So I may just scrap that and do my and do Trade-of-8. So as soon as we get the inversion there, I'll take that buy. So I got in there on the account. This is where we are. So we tapped in, we swept those lows, tapped into that 30-minute fair value gap, rejected upward, inversed that 1 minute, and then we got into a long. Didn't get a great entry on that, but at least I'd like to say that we're going to get to those highs. So far, doing pretty good. Showing good volume to the ups, a good push to the upside. So at this point, we see if we can at least get to these highs here. Get those 8 a.m. highs. And then if it wants to go down, it can go down. If it wants to continue up, it can continue up. But at least we're get us out the way. Let's just go ahead and get us out the way. Let's hit them highs. And we will get out of your way, NASDAQ. I promise. Let's see if we inverse this 5 minute. That would be great. That would be great. That would be great. And we inverse that 5 minute. That is good looking there. Looking good on the NASDAQ at the 9:30 open. We got a good entry. Well, not a sniper entry, but we got a good trade going as far as these longs. Looking to get into those that 8 a.m. high after a sweep of the low and a tap into that 30-minute fair value gap and an inversion of a 1 minute pre-market fair value gap. So we're getting a pullback into consummate encroachment of that 5 minute fair value gap after the 5 minute inversion. So we're looking to get to cross those 8 a.m. highs here at the open. Really don't like how it's slowing up here after it passed. Yeah, after we passed against that 200 moving average, I like to see a nice strong move to the upside. We are coming into this 1 minute order block, which is a pretty weak high here, so you're retesting that 1 minute inversion. Don't like all the hesitation there. So once we get up, start to push. Once we get a nice push to the upside, we'll probably look to try to get out of this trade. Right now, it looks like it's trying to shake. That's called a shakeout. When they constantly pull back and retest those areas, they shake off those investors that are not too firm in the trade. So we're trying to stay solid with the trade that we made. Like I said, we could have got a little bit better of a position, and we wouldn't be experiencing as much drawdown. But be as it may, we got in. It closed kind of high above our target area. We could have waited for the retest and got in. As you see, it retest consummate encroachment of that 1 minute. I want to see price start to push. Give us a nice expansion to the upside. If we start to get below consummate encroachment of that 1 minute, we'll cut this trade and then look for a better position. Simply because we didn't get a good fill on our entry. I don't want to experience too much drawdown, and it looks like we're trying to slide down below consummate encroachment. So I'll see what this next candle is going to do. Still retesting that 30-minute. Got a big wick on that 30-minute candle there. Kind of closed below that 30-minute. Here it inversed that 30-minute. We didn't reach as high up on that to get to that 8 a.m. high. Again, this is just kind of a confluence area. Don't want to hold too much weight on it, but it doesn't look good as far as how that candle closed and where we are now. So we're looking bullish on the day. That's why I'm just holding out and try not to get shaken out of this trade. Are experiencing a little bit of drawdown, but you can see we are pushing up. Being with the Nasdaq, it's a group of other companies correlating as one. So I don't just look at what's going on here. We look at the other companies to see what's going on and how they're moving as well. And as far as we can see, it looks very bullish on all aspects. So we're just going to hold out. We're going to get into our 8 a.m. highs, and we will get out of your way, Nasdaq, because we don't want no smoke. We don't want no smoke, Nasdaq. We want to hit our highs and get out of the way. So we're actually looking maybe to see if we can get to those London highs. That's a good area, a good target area above our 8 a.m. highs. So experiencing some pullbacks, a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of drawdown. Do we have our first presented fair value gap here for today? You said we are looking bullish on the day. We're just waiting for that big expansion to the upside. We're about a little less than 5 minutes, a little bit more than 5 minutes out to that 950 macro. um, which we're expecting to get our delivery to the upside. So I pull my stop up just to protect our area here. And I may be getting close to getting us out of this trade. I just want to pull our stop up to protect our profits, because if we're going to push, we should be pushing now. And there we go on that trade there. So I don't mind. We netted about 145 on that trade. I don't mind taking those profits. If anything, I'll look for a better entry. So let's wait into this 950 macro, because we could see some manipulation to the downside. So we netted at 145, whereas if we'd have stayed in that trade, we would have been experiencing more drawdown. So I'd have rather see money take money at that option. If anything, I'd re-enter here for a better entry. So we're starting to push. You're starting to see that push to the upside, and we may hit those 8 a.m. highs, and there we go. As we push to the upside there. So let's see what we do here as we get to this 950 macro. So if we get one more pull, if we get a nice pullback and a rejection, I'd like to maybe re-enter this trade with a short scalp to the highs. So there we go with that pullback. Got about 3 minutes till we get to that we're on the 5 minute, and I love when these inside candles, when we open above those inside candles, usually we get our push to the upside. If we do open above an inside candle, and it's reversed with opening below those inside candles. So that's why I took profits where we took them at, because we're getting a little bit of resistance here. We could experience a deeper pullback at that macro, and looks like we'll hit that 8 a.m. high. And there we go. And there it is. There we are with those 8 a.m. highs. So we swept our lows and we tapped into our highs. So let's see if we're going to see more expansion to the upside. I know I told the NASDAQ we get out there our way, but we got to take advantage of these days. And I kind of want to see us squeeze a little bit more out of this. So that worked out great. So I could actually tie in my TradeAvate account with TradingView, and you can see we took those orders there. Yeah, we took that order there. Boom. We're 145 on the day. Currently no positions available. So I was able to execute on TradeAvate, and then it pops up on TradingView. So I like that. So maybe we'll stick with that model. That way I don't get I don't accidentally take a mini when I want to take a micro, or experience the lag or the glitching that TradingView sometimes gives me. So after we hit those highs, we pulled back. We didn't hit any type of major key level or anything of the such. So we pulled back. We broke these highs here. We broke these interior highs here. Nice little pullback. And we didn't quite hit 50%. Didn't quite hit 50% of that of the range. So we're still in premium of this 5-minute range. Kind of came back down, retested this fair value gap, and pushing up. So we're starting to push back up here. So on the 1 minute, we pull back into a 1 minute fair value gap. Respect consummate encroachment of that 1 minute. And we may be entering into a small sell program. We do have targets at the bottom here. And we're at that 950 macro. So let's see. We may be setting up for a nice short here. I'll wait for the next pullback. Here we got a smart money reversal, a low risk entry. There's a nice top wick on that 15 minute. So it looks like it's setting up for shorts to hit those lows. We do have some objectives to the downside. I'd wait until we get an inversion of maybe our first presented fair value gap, and then maybe possibly get into a short. And there's a nice speed to the downside. Yeah, a nice short there. So we're breaking below that 1 minute. We just inversed that 1 minute. Maybe try to see a pullback, or it's going to just continue to the downside. So we're starting to see a pullback, small pullback, a little bit of resistance there. There's that pullback and a rejection. Rejection. Getting a lot of hesitation. I would enter into this, but I'm going to take a small scalp to these lows here. Pick up. There we go. I just wanted to pick up a couple dollars. There we go. So we're up 225 on the day. Up 225 on the day on that. Times, let's say 10 accounts. That's $2,000. I'm getting out of the way of NASDAQ. We're finished for the day. We got our trades. We took our, so just to recap what we did today, we took our, and this is why I took that scalp there. We didn't even hit that low all the way. I know NASDAQ. We may hit that area. We may go down here and hit these lows and even midnight open, but you're going to experience a lot of up and down, up and down. Let's do this. I didn't even put our GEX levels in. That's our new thing. We've been putting in our GEX levels. Didn't do that this morning. So our gamma flip is 29,272. That was our gamma flip. We have our put wall at 29,000, and it doesn't look like it changed from yesterday. Call wall at 30,000. Let's make sure this is updated. Yeah, so we're updated there. So 29,272. So our put wall at 29,000. way down here. We see some definite push to the downside there. So our put wall, and we're at that new 1 hour candle. Here's our put wall down here. Our gamma flip, which is 29,272. So we're above gamma right now. So we did sweep those lows. We're still above gamma. So when you're above gamma flip, you see a dampened move. You don't see that much amplified moves. So keeping in context, what I'll do is I'm going to give it right from the horse's mouth. So we look at mean reverting, stabilizing environment. So we don't chase breakouts. So if, for example, if NQ reaches the call wall to the top and sweeps prior day highs, we'd be looking at a reversal setup. So likewise, if we hit the put wall and prior day low sweep, can provide potential longs, and that's above gamma flip. So that's why that short was a nice short, maybe up here, because we came up, although we didn't hit the call wall, which is at 30,000. Call was at 30,000. So we didn't hit the call wall. We swept those highs, but we didn't sweep any significant areas. So if we get up, if price was to shoot up and sweep prior day highs, we would have probably seen more of a move to the downside. But we did sweep those pre-market highs, the ADM highs, and we've seen that reversal. That's why I'm looking for that short. That's why I took that short. I just wanted to make sure that we inverse this first presented fair value gap, and we continue to the downside. New York Open looks like the target. So, but we still haven't shot below our gamma zero, gamma flip area. But be as it may, we may see a continuation move to the downside as we go, but you start to see those moves aren't going to be as dramatic, as amplified. There'll be small little pops to the downside and a slow crawl until we get there. So I probably wouldn't do it any differently. We took our longs based on our ADM sweep and our inversion, and we got into our long. We could have took our short from up here once we rejected off this fair value gap, and then we have these targets to the downside. I don't want to test NQ anymore. I'm kind of at my max, unless we sweep. I like to play the reversal, so unless we sweep and then we start to reverse to the upside, I'd want to get into another trade here. But being as though we're going down and we're continuing to go down, It's kind of hard for me to get into the middle of a trade unless we see a nice deep pullback, which then would be considered a reversal for me. So I'd like to see, this is a new 5-minute candle. Yeah, so I'd like to see maybe a 5-minute gap created here, then a pullback into that, and a rejection. That's what I'd like to see. Maybe a gap created here, then a pullback, a rejection, and then down. See how we're reacting off that 786 to the T? That's not by accident. That is precision. We put these levels on the daily. It react perfectly to the 786. Now, if we start to push down below the 786, retest and go back down, then we, that could be also a confluence for us to get into some shorts. But I like how we're pulling back here, kind of retesting that low that we just broke. So I'm looking at possibly, so instead of jumping into this short in midstream, I'd like to see it either sweep those London lows, tap midnight open, and then go into a reversal, because we are bullish on the day. We started opening above the gamma flip, gamma zero. We did see a nice little pullback there. A little bit of a consolidation, then a push to the downside. We got about a little bit more than 2 minutes left before that 10-10 macro. Before we get to that 10-10, where we should see full delivery. But you see how wicky it is? You see that top wick, and as it gets below gamma zero, you'll start to see more of that. You'll start to see more, and now we'll start to see more amplified moves and some instability. Before up here, it was kind of pushing down, nice long bearish candles, a little bit of consolidation, long bearish candles. But as we get to the gamma, what do we see? Indecision. We get it? Boom, push back. So now we're going to start to see more top wicks here. I wanted to see if there was a key level there. Tighten up. So it looks like we're trying to trade back to that 930. So see how we over here we created that 5-minute gap, traded back into it, and rejected. That's what I was looking for. Kind of respected consummate encroachment of that 5-minute gap. Now we're pushing lower, and maybe we could scalp to these lows here. And we're just below that 10-10 mark. So if it's going to deliver, it's going to deliver. That's what we're looking for then. I didn't get into a trade there. I just marked it out just to see what it would do. But I put the stop loss there above this high and see what would happen if we scalp this. I didn't get into the trade, didn't pull the trigger, but it's a possibility simply because we rejected off this 5-minute gap, respected consummate encroachment, and see if we push down. Right here at this 786 level, if we break this level, I'd expect to see prices just go to the downs. You start to see some expansion now. So there we go. Looks like we'll get that push to the downside we were looking for. This level here, we start to see these top wicks. That's what we expected below that gamma flip area. And there we go. That would have been a good scalp to the downside for a 1.9. Starting to break below that level. So we may be getting into that, looking for a draw on liquidity, that New York midnight open. But be as it may, um, we're up to 25 on the day. I probably won't take any more trades today, but I will call out some trades here that could be possible good. We just took and swept these lows here. So we had this area here that we got. Now we're starting to see the pullback. We were here. It was about a 1 to 2 point trade. So now we're going to see if we can't get. I'll just mark it like that. I'll just call out our trades that way. So we took that trade off of this 5-minute gap that was created, came back, retested, respected constant encroachment. Now we're starting to see more push to the downside. So as we continue down, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for gaps to be created and respected. Starting to see some consolidation now. Still hasn't really broke below this 786 level with a body close. We're wicking below it, showing some indication that it wants to go lower. No real commitment. So we're just kind of hanging out here. We called out this one trade. We took 2 trades so far today. We took ours long to the upside after we swept these 8 a.m. lows. We swept these 8 a.m. lows, tapped into our 30-minute fair value gap, and then started to push higher. Once we pushed higher and we inversed this 1-minute fair value gap, got into a trade and took these longs to the where were we aiming at? We were aiming at our 8 a.m. highs originally, so we just took our longs here, kind of cut it short just before we hit those equals highs. Experiencing a lot of pullback, didn't get too good of a fill. Wanted to get filled here, kind of got filled up here, and started to experience a lot of pullback. So once we got up here and broke these highs here, we cut our trade. It went on up, hit our 8 a.m. lows. Our 8 a.m. highs. After experiencing, a little bit of pullback. If we would have got in here, maybe we would have held it out all the way until those highs. But being as though our execution, our entry wasn't as good as anticipated, we cut our trade as soon as we got up around these highs. We went on ahead and seen that price swept these 8 a.m. highs here, created a 1-minute bearish fair value gap, came back and retested, respected constant encroachment, and started to push down. I waited until we got here and inversed our first presented fair value gap. Took a short and aimed at these lows here, which it was a small scalp. We got those, and we started to see continuation to the downside. So I didn't take this trade, but I called out this trade. That's why I put our little marker here and put our stop right here at these highs. Aim for these lows, and it swept it. Still hasn't closed below those lows. As you can see, there's a key level here, 786 level that's been marked on our daily range. So the idea is once we break this level with some strong body closures, that price should deliver down to maybe London low or either the New York midnight open. So that would have been a nice almost 2-to-1 trade right there. You can still see it's still respecting our stop loss here. So we may see price push down. We're below gamma right now. So we'll see. We're starting to see a lot of we'll see amplified moves, which means after we break this low, it should push down with some speed. But we're also seeing some instability, so you'll see a lot of downward and upward movement, a lot of zigzag and a lot of bar coding, which is to be expected. But after that, after this accumulation phase, we'll start to see pushes to the downside. This could be traps, trying to trap longs, and then institutions will sweep those longs and continue to the downside. So these are a lot of engineered lows here. So as they hit these lows and start to push up, you may get some investors wanting to try to bottom tick and call these longs, putting their stop losses below these lows here. And then you'll start to see it push up, and you'll see that quick move to the bottom before anybody has time to react, and they get stopped out. So we're finally starting to break below that level. We got a body closure below, and we should start to see some speed to the downside. So that's what we're starting to see here. Was that first target be that London low? If we can get a somewhat of a gap created here, a pullback and a retest. And there we go. Hit that London low. I'm going to see a pullback into this gap here. Starting to see that pullback. See if we can respect consummate encroachment of that 1 minute. Could be as though we're starting to get a push above that 1 minute. If we don't body above that gap, it's still a credible FEG as far as showing a confluence to the downside. When we start to body above, that's when we really don't want to be in those trades to the downside. It looks like we're gonna body above that. We're gonna body above this 1 minute fair value gap. So we have I got on the 1 hour. We have a 1 hour inefficiency here. That price is sort of reacting from. We don't have much of a top wick on this 1 hour. Starting to push back up. So I'd like to see if we're going to start to create some structure to the upside here, being higher lows and higher highs. So if we start to break some of these highs, then that's what we'll see. Other than that, this could just be a pullback into. So this 1 hour range, we pull back into this OTE area, which is optimal trade entry. So if we were to enter a trade there, this is what it would look like here. And we could scalp to these lows here for a quick 1.5. I didn't get into this trade. I'm hovering over the button. I really want to get in, but then I don't. So that tells me I probably need to get ready to close this stream out. Maybe a short when we got our trades early. I want to scalp to the downside. Hit that. We swept London low, indicated, but it's coming back down. Everything's telling me we're going to hit it, but you know, with the way the price is moving, it just isn't. Just one of those things, you either got to hit it or you don't. Simple as that. But if we would have took that trade up there at the optimal trade entry area, then it would have been a nice 1.5, 1 to 1.5, which we would have hit TP, which is nice. And we're rejecting off of our simple moving average here. So we've indicated lower. So our ultimate draw on liquidity is the New York Open. So we may just go ahead and jump right into a off of the next pullback. If we get the same criteria, then I wouldn't be opposed to maybe jumping into a short. And look at that push to the downside. We may hit the New York Open beforehand. Look at that. Popped it. Popped it. There it is. Now we may be looking for that reversal. What a time not to be in a short, huh? Midnight open. There it is. So now we're looking for the reversal to the upside. That's what we're calling out now. But that was a beautiful setup. We had multiple points of entry there. This was our first entry call here. This was our second. Both ended up going to our TP. So we pulled back into that optimal trade entry area, well into it. If we start to break highs, now we want to start seeing some structure to the upside, start to break these highs, and then start to create higher lows, looking for the reversal. Because like I said in the beginning of the day, we are bullish. All things are pointing to the upside. But I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with our prior plan here. Not going to be greedy. We got 225 on the day. We had a win yesterday. And we're just going to go ahead and close out the stream. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone that joined us today. If you're checking me out from the future, this is the beginning of our journey to being consistently profitable. So hopefully I will be back tomorrow and look for some good dynamic trades that we can get into to keep our little streak going as we have so far this week. So thanks again. I will see you guys tomorrow and have a great rest of your day.